Hi guys, it's Jeff. I made one New Year's resolution this year. I don't suppose you can probably guess what it is. Anyway, um, just had to clean that up. Was getting kind of tired of it. This will be part two of the Roden Holt tractor, artillery tractor, the Model 75 in 1/35 scale. I've completed a good part of the suspension. Okay, and I'm not sure just exactly what this is. A little, anyway, some of the pieces and a little bit of the track. Okay, so that was a lot of work there. Anyway, hope everything's going real good for you guys. 2023. I really appreciate you guys watching. I'm just a little over 1,000 now, so really having a good time doing this. So let's go down the bench and I'll show you what I'm up to. We'll get part 1 through 6 finished today. Okay, be right back. Okay, this is going to be step 1 for the Holt 75 artillery tractor. The instructions for this are broken up a little different than some of the other kits, so it's going to be kind of hard to just show one set of instructions on screen. But let's go ahead and get going with step 1. Okay, this will be B7. That's something I noticed real quick. Most kits that you build, or at least that I remember building, it's always sprue and then part number. So it, A5, D3, whatever. But with this kit, it's part number then sprue. So this is 7B on the instructions. Of course, I put it down as B7 because that's just kind of what I'm used to. But it's not that hard to figure out. This had some really, really big blocks of plastic that had to be sanded away, and it had quite a few sprue connecting points, and also these holes here, they didn't go all the way through. They weren't deep enough to accept the parts that need to go on there, so I went ahead and drilled those out. Something I'll mention too, I don't know if you can see it or not, but it doesn't look like you can. There's double holes here. There's a hole here and a hole here that go through, and then there's another hole right here, and that's for a spring later on. There's 2 here and 2 over here. So you can kind of see there's double holes. So you got to make sure when you do the spring that you get that spring in the right hole. Okay, B7. I got 6 D23s. These had big seam lines on the sides and lots of flash, and the holes were undersized. They wouldn't fit over the pins like they were supposed to, so I had to kind of ream all those out. So I'm not disappointed at all in the way this kit fits. I expected issues like this because I've been warned, so it's nothing that I hadn't anticipated. But this kit will take a lot of time to clean up and do properly. Okay, so if you're one of the people that are used to doing kits that just kind of fall together, you're not going to like this one at all. Okay, I got D5. I got 4 of those. I've got 6 of the D23s, and I've got the B7. Let's go ahead and get this step 1 put together. Okay, let's do this first. Try and make sure I'm on screen. And of course I need to get rid of the glasses. And I'm still using airbrush cleaner. As the glue. Works just fine. Okay. This plastic is a little soft. It kind of reminds me a lot of the Mini Art plastic. It sands fine, and everything works fine with it. It's just that you kind of got to be careful because you can overdo the sanding really quickly. Let's go ahead and do this side. Okay. Okay. And then this side. Yeah, I've spent several days doing nothing but cleaning parts for the first 6 steps, which does include the tracks. I spent a lot of time cleaning tracks. I'll show you in just a little bit. It's tracks are in step 6, so we'll be getting to it before too long. A couple of my subscribers have built this kit, and in the comments they mentioned some issues that they've had, and give me a few things to look out for. I really appreciate that. Anybody else that's built this kit, if you've got some known issues, let me know in the comments. I'd appreciate it. Okay. With a little bit of cleanup, everything fits really well. Okay, so let's set that aside, and we'll give it a little time to dry, and we'll go on. See if I can bring 2 into a little better. Let's see here. Okay. It's the pits. I'm so nearsighted I can see the parts up close, but I can't see the screen at a distance without my glasses. Okay, part A16 and 17. There was a real bad seam line all the way around this edge, and there was rivet details, but the rivet details were just pretty much just little blobs in the plastic. There wasn't really anything much, so I sanded those all off. And then on the face here, it's like when they did the tooling, they didn't have it programmed right or something, but every place there was a rivet, there was like a long streak of raised plastic all the way across. So I went ahead and just sanded all that off, and I just recreated all the rivets. Okay, I just used my little rivet punch here. I used a 0.8 punch, and I think I used a 0.55 millimeter styrene sheet, but once this was all glued down, then I sanded the tops just a little bit, so these aren't anywhere near 0.55 thick anymore. But I think that brought the detail back pretty well, because it was not good. Okay, so we need to do, let's see, those are for the next step. I've got A18. This is C13, and this is C12. And then we've got a couple little bitty handles that we need to add. So what I want to do, I'll start here at the front. These go here. So I want to make sure that lines up just right. Okay. Let's get rid of these again. And this will go here. I prefer to put the part on and then add the glue if I can. I'll just have to kind of work with it. See, this will be like this. Okay. There's a little ridge right here, which is supposed to be the edge of a sheet. I think of a steel sheet, and I think that's supposed to go right up to it. I think it's going to be easier just to go ahead and put the glue in and then set it in. A little too much glue. I can always add glue to the back. Okay. I'll check this for square. That goes past the seam just a little bit. I think it's okay. Okay, and then this one. Like so. I need to do this fairly quickly so I can adjust for anything out of square before the glue sets up completely. Okay, and this one all the way to the back. Makes any difference. Okay. Yep, that looks good. Actually, a little fast. Set this on. whatever time is necessary to adjust. Okay, what I want to do, I've got a metal block here with a square edge. I just sit it on there and make sure everything sits like it's supposed to. Okay, just a touch of glue there. Okay, there's the main part there. We're supposed to have some seams in it here. It's where the edges of the sheets come, the metal plates. And I've got a handle here and a handle here. Okay, A2 will be at the front. Look at here. Now the A2, both of these are really tiny, and they do have seam lines on them. And I couldn't really hold them and sand them. So what I'm going to do is glue them on and wait till they're nice and firm, and then I'll come back and I'll sand a little bit of a mold seam. So that's just okay. Sorry, just checking. Just trying to make sure everything looks good. Okay, let's get this one here. We'll just put a little bit of glue. I should be using Oz-Scale Modeling's trick with the glue tack, having the part just in place and ready to pick up. Yeah, it'll be easy to sand that off. Once the glue's firmed up, it gives me something to hang on to. Okay, we got one back here. Well, for the next one, I'll get some white tack or something out here to put the small parts on. That's a really good idea. Okay, there we go. I'll sand that little bit of a mold seam there. But that should complete step 2. Alrighty, put that aside. Make sure I'm not leaving any parts behind. Let's take a look at step 3. Okay, 3 is going to be return rollers. Let's get this, well, you can see it here on screen. There's 10 return rollers, D20 and D22. Now these were molded with a real heavy connecting point across this little, there's a little lip there, and the mold seam went all, or the connection point went all the way across it. So I had to actually sit there and file each one and reestablish that little bit of a groove there. I don't know if you can see it or not, but yeah, I spent a lot of time reshaping these wheels because of the connecting point that that you know, really was in a bad spot. Anyway, I've checked these against the track already, and the spacing and everything is good, so it's just simply a matter of gluing these together. Shouldn't be much to do. Get that out of the way. Okay. And put them in a container. I got some more containers coming. Been using them for all kinds of things. Kind of run out for what I need for models. Okay, maybe it'd be better if I put a little glue inside. Let's see, let's do it this way again. Doesn't take too long to do stuff like this. The biggest part was the cleanup. Spent lots and lots of time making the part look right, which I'm not surprised. You know, from what I'd heard about the kit and everything, I knew that was going to be quite a bit of work. That's fine. I don't mind a bit. Got them. The tracks were, wow. Lots and lots of flash. I'll show you here in just a little bit. We're getting down the tracks. Two more to do. Okay, that's going to finish off step 3. Give it a second to grab. Okay, so those are all good. There's all our return rollers. Or actually, those are the road wheels. These on here are the return rollers. Okay, so lid on that. Let's take a look at part 4. Okay, this is going to be one side of the suspension, and actually, let's back this out just a little bit. Where it's got this P and S here, that means do it for port and starboard, or left and right side. So we've got both parts. This will be B3 and B1 for the opposite side, B13 and B2 for the opposite side, and then B12 and B4 for the opposite side, and then the springs are all the same, and this little arm here will be all the same. So here are 8 D21s. There's 2 D1s. And there's B4, B12, and all the little side parts that we'll put on. And those will be on the next step. Okay, and I've got these marked on the back. Okay, so let's see if we can get it in screen here good. For this side, we're going to need 13 and 3. So that's 13 and 3 there. So these will be for the opposite side. And then we'll need B12. That's B4. This is B12. Well, here's the part here. Okay, this had a lot of 3Z pins on the back side that stuck up real high. So I cut all those down, sanded them back. They're going to be to where you can't see them on the finished model. This will be where the roller sits. So I didn't spend a lot of time filling, but a lot of connection points, a lot of seam, a lot of flash. You know, just kind of the way this kit's going to be. So let's go ahead. We're going to need our rollers, our road wheels, and we can start with let's see, this will be 13. I'm going to lose the glasses one more time. This will sit right here. Just like so. Make sure it's in the right spot and that it's reasonably square. Okay. These holes were not, there's 5 holes here too for the rollers, and those holes were they were misaligned. It was like the tool came from both sides, but in the center they didn't meet. So I had to run a drill bit through all of those also. Okay. So we're going to need 5 of these. And this will go on this side. Try and get everything lined up. And the same thing with this. I had to drill all the holes. Whoop, come on. Well, that one just doesn't want to cooperate. Maybe if I held it more straight up and down. Might just end up being glued in. They will turn freely once they're in, but it's not really necessary. There we go. Get them all together there. There we be. And just a touch of glue. Okay. Okay. Okay, that looks good. Just drop a tiny little bit more glue in there. There we go. Okay, let's go ahead and do the opposite side too, which is actually, you know, the exact same thing. So let's go ahead and do it real quick. So on the inside, we're going to need 2. Okay. Whoops. Well, they're right there. Yeah, almost right there. Well, gonna have to reset. Biggest thing is just take your time. If at first it don't work, do it again, or try something different. There we go. Okay, there's our two sides. They'll be kind of like that. Okay, so we can get rid of that. We've got two D1s. And they're not very big. Let's go ahead and get rid of that. They'll go in this little slot. Not sure exactly what it's for. It sits right there. Okay, and then the springs. Now these springs, the mold lines are not real good. Fact is, they're pretty rough. I spent quite a bit of time trying to clean them up with a little razor saw and things. Pretty much decided that it was going to just destroy them to do too much. And then I'd also considered buying like metal springs and replacing them entirely. After looking at things for a bit, I decided the springs are pretty much going to be hidden, so they're not going to be seen a whole lot. I'll try and put the mold seams to where they're kind of facing sideways, where they're not real obvious. Come on. Okay. Those will have to be lined up a little bit better when the next part goes on, which will be real quick. Okay. So really a unique vehicle. I'm not sure just exactly how the steering works, if the tracks actually, brake also, or if everything is done just with that front wheel. I found a service manual for this online with some pictures in it. I just haven't had a chance to study it yet. Okay. That's going to finish off step 4. Let's get to step 5. And step 6 is the tracks. I'll show you what I'm doing with the tracks. Let's see, 39 minutes. Okay. What we need to do now is we need to bring this back out. That's all done. And then we have some parts here. This will go pretty quick. This is B9. I got D16, 2 of those. Okay, and then these parts we already did. So let's go ahead and get all this stuff out here. Basically, it's just a matter of just putting this stuff together. Okay. This, let's see. The easiest way to do it, I think, is going to be to put this here. Do that. Okay, and this will go here. Just like that. On there. And there's a pin on that. Okay, and then this will go together. Same way. So let's get a little glue. Okay, and then this works either direction basically, but it goes over the top, and that's where we line all these springs up. It's like so. So that's going to take a second. See if we can get this all to sit straight. There's that one. And that one. Those look good. Too much glue. Okay, that's not holding. Okay, Give it a second. Maybe I need to get these in to where it'll kind of line things up better. Looks good. Apparently we've got a little warping or something going on there. I just have to hold it a second until the glue sets up. I'll go ahead and do this off camera, and I'll be right back and I'll show you the tracks. So this is step 5 completed. Okay, I'll just hold this for a little bit. Okay, I actually just put a little weight on top of it. Okay, here's tracks. Let's move on to step 6. Okay, there's 27 links in the tracks, and they basically, one side, well, has a little slot and the other has a little pin, and you just put them together. Not as easily said as done. These were extremely bad for flash, and right here and here they all had ejector pin marks. They were proud, you know, or they were up. So I took my chisel and went through all 27 times both sides times 2 per side, so that's 104 ejector pins I had to get off of there and clean up. Now the way the tracks go together, you kind of hold them at an angle like so, if I can show you, and then you just pull them down and turn them. Problem is, they don't come together. They bind. So what I had to do is on this edge, I had to sand to where this edge, and I sanded a little bit on this edge too, to where when you put them together, they would come together like they're supposed to, like this. Okay, so there's one set of tracks completed. Okay, all the little ejector pins and everything. They're good, but if you try and like curve them to go around, you know, a sprocket or something, they will come apart on you real easy. So it's gonna be kind of tricky to wrap them around everything. But this one side is done. Just took a lot of time, a lot of sanding. Okay, and all those ejector pin marks on both sides. So I won't do this on camera. I don't want to bore you to death. One thing I did do, I got this on my little vise here. I like to take the sprockets and the road wheels and everything and check and make sure they all fit and there's clearance. We're not quite to this point yet, but the sprocket had a seam line around it, which I expected, but it also had three ejector pins, here, and here on the back. I've already removed 2 of them. We'll be doing that soon, but I just put it in my little vise here, and then let's turn it around to this side. Catch it with the vise, and then use my little chisel to go in here and very gently remove that ejector pin. So I've got to do that on those. that's going to about do it, I think, for this video. We're already at like 50 minutes. So I appreciate you guys watching. I hope you guys are all having a really nice 2023 and getting some time to work on your models. And I'll be back before you know it, and I'll have more to show you. Okay? All right. Have a great day. See you later, guys. Bye-bye.